Today, we're going to learn on how to build and run an organization. So where do we usually learn these organizational skills, management skills from? Business schools, right? Today, we're going to learn from the biggest school of learning there is. What school am I talking about? Is it the Harvard, the Stanford, the Whartons? Well, let's have a look. What you just saw was the glimpse of the majestic animal kingdom. But wait, what has the animal kingdom got to do with management lessons, right? Well, hear me out. I believe that the animals have mastered the skill of management. I believe that animals are much better at management than us humans. Yes, us humans, we have evolved, we have come from the ancient times to modernity. We have built bridges, we have built tall buildings, we have built cities with millions of people living in them. We have built companies worth hundreds and thousands worth of crores of rupees. We have done all of that. So what do we have to learn from the animals? After all, they're wild, they're savages, they're untamed, right? Well, let me take you through the next 10 minutes to actually show you how well structured, well organized and responsive the animal society is built compared to us humans and our Forbes 500 and Sensex companies. Let's beat the odds of the business realms and learn from these beautiful creatures. So fasten your seat belts, because today we're going to learn management lessons from the animal kingdom. Lesson number 1, we're going to learn about leadership and the chain of authority. First, let me tell you what is leadership and what does a leader do. A leadership or the leader has a vision and a goal. He brings together a team of people, makes a strategy, makes a plan of action and implements them with the help of his team to achieve that organizational goal. That is what leadership is. So let's have a look at the leadership from the wolves. Here you can see the pack of wolves. So let me explain the dynamics of the wolf pack. First up, you can see the alpha. Alpha is the leader of the pack. He is the CEO or the managing director of this company. And then there are the betas. Betas are the other board of directors who help assist the leader in implementing the goal. And then there are the subordinates. They are the workforce of the pack. And then we also have certain department managers who are specially skilled in certain department. For example, here we have the mother wolf. Obviously, mother wolf's special skill is to give birth to younger ones and to nurture them. We also have the elder wolves. They act like an advisory committee. They act like an advisor to the company because of their experience and wisdom. We also have interns and trainees in this pack. They are called the juveniles. They are the young wolves, the teen wolves who are training to one day become betas and alphas themselves. This is the chain of authority in the wolf pack. Now let's see how leadership is implemented out in the wild. Now imagine the wolf pack hunting in the wild. Imagine the wolf packs hunting a rare or a hare or a rabbit. As you all know, rabbits can change directions almost instantly. So when they are hunting in the wild, it's very difficult for the wolf pack to restrict the rabbit from changing directions. So how do the wolves divide their roles? How do they delegate their responsibility? So while the lead wolf is trying to follow the rabbit and trying to close down on the distance between them, the subordinates help the lead wolf by covering the sidelines so as to restrict the rabbit from changing directions. So when the subordinates are on the side, the lead wolf closes the distance and goes in for the kill. This is how they divide their roles and responsibilities in the wild. These are the kind of qualities that I would encourage all of us, leadership qualities, to inculcate in our organizations as well. To lesson number 2, once you set up leadership, and the chain of authority, you need to define roles and responsibilities to everybody in the organization. To learn this, we're going to take the help of the bees. Bees are amazing culture, are an amazing creature whose organization is actually complex, because in a usual beehive, there are around 50,000 bees living in them. So let's just have a look how these bees, so many of them who are living together, divide their role and responsibility. First up, we have the builder bees. They build and repair the hive. Then we have the protector bees. They are like the bodyguards of the hive. And then we have cleaner bees and honey forger bees. So they go out and forge food and come back with honey to the hive. And then we have drone bees. Drone bees are the only male bees in the hive. So they mate with the queen bee and help repopulate and also take care of the queen bee. At last, we have the temperature control bees. As the name suggests, they control the temperature in the hive by flapping their wings and generating heat inside the hive. And if at all it gets too hot, they go out and bring back water droplets on their back and flap their wings again, so that the water gets evaporated and the hive cools down. This is how they've divided responsibility amongst themselves. So how does this help the bees and us business students? By dividing roles and responsibility, every single task that needs to be done gets done. And every bee or every person involved in the organization knows what is my role and what am I supposed to do. And when the bee is doing that particular task regularly, after some time, eventually, that bee is going to be an expert in that particular task. So you're going to train new trainees, new employees to become experts in that particular field, because they do the same thing every day. So you're going to be the best at what you're going to do. Because you're going to be the best, you're going to be efficient. By being efficient, you're going to save time and energy, not just for yourself, but for your organization as well. This is why dividing roles and responsibility is important. So now we've built a leadership, we have a strong vision, we have the chain of authority, we have defined roles and responsibilities to everybody. So how do we make sure that the organizational goal that we have set, that the vision that we have set, or the plan of action that we have made, is it being implemented or not? How do we know? If it's being implemented, is it being implemented in the right way? Are there any changes or improvisations that we're supposed to do? So how do we get to know about this? Simple, feedback. That's our third lesson for today. We're going to learn about feedback, and we're going to learn this from our tiny friends, the ants. Let me ask you a question. I'm sure all of you have seen ants coming wherever there's sugar or some other food on the mud, right? You will observe that when there's food, a few ants are going to come, see it, find it, go back to its colony, get more friends, and then after some time you're going to see that there's going to be a line of ants coming and going. So one observation is that it's in a straight line. And if you observe even more keenly, you'll observe that that line is actually the shortest distance between the nest colony and the food. So how do these ants find the shortest route? Through the help of feedback. So every time an ant finds food and goes back to its colony, it excretes a chemical substance called pheromone. In management terms, it's called feedback. So every time it brings food and goes back to the colony, it's going to leave feedback along the way. So that the second and third ant which is going to come is going to see this feedback and understand, oh, this is the way I'm supposed to go. But how will it differentiate between the long route and the short route? So I have a video here that will help me explain it. So at the bottom is the short route, and at the top is the long route, right? So the magic or the speciality of this pheromone or feedback is that it starts evaporating and disappears after some time. So obviously, the longer route where the feedback is there is going to evaporate and disappear faster than the shorter route. So when the two ants are going to separate, one ant's going to take the long route, one ant's going to take the short route and come back. Both of them are going to give feedback saying I've found food in this route. But when the third ant is going to come and it has to choose between both the paths, it's going to see that this path, that is the bottom path, has more intensity of pheromone, that is it has more feedback, it is more fresh. So it's going to decide, okay, this is the route that I'm going to take, and that's the route it's going to take. So is the fourth, fifth and the sixth ant. So once the third, fourth, fifth, sixth ant takes the shorter route and comes back, it's going to leave more feedback on the same way, increasing the intensity of the feedback. This, I feel, is by far the best feedback process that I've seen in nature. So if we try to implement this in our organizations, it's going to help. So how should a feedback process be? It's supposed to be decentralized, straight from the field, where the people are actually doing the task because they know the ground reality. So take the feedback directly from the people who are performing the task. Let the information or the know-how be transferred from person one to the next person. This is again going to increase the efficiency in our organizations, and if there are any issues, it's going to resolve soon. So to revamp, these are the three lessons that we learned today. Building, having a strong vision, setting up a strong leadership and chain of authority. Lesson number 2 was defining roles and responsibilities, and 3, building a strong feedback process. To conclude, I believe that there's no one way or one standard way of learning or educating oneself. You can observe animals, you can observe people, you can observe situations and learn from that. I believe that Mother Nature is a true provider in all essence, and from her we can learn everything that we need. For example, we can learn how to build better planes by studying birds. We can learn how to build better communication devices by studying sonar communication of dolphins. There's so much to learn. Mother Nature has all the answers. You just have to ask the right questions. Thank you.